Soufrière man sentenced to 5 years, 11 months in jail for manslaughter. The drug squad destroys 8 marijuana plantations in Granby. And bus drivers react to new traffic arrangements at Pottersville. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. First up in the news, Herbert Xavier of Soufrière has been sentenced to 5 years, 11 months in jail for pleading guilty to manslaughter. Herbert and his 2 sisters Manuela and Loretta were previously sentenced to 15 years for the murder of their brother Harrison Williams back in 2010. After they successfully appealed, the matter was sent back to the High Court for retrial. Earlier this month, Herbert pleaded guilty to manslaughter and the DPP withdrew charges against his 2 sisters. Herbert's 5-year sentence came in spite of a very passionate mitigation plea from defense lawyer Wayne Norde. Before his sentencing by Judge Errol Thomas, Herbert Xavier said, and I quote, "I would like to say to Jacqueline," that's the wife of the deceased, "my sister-in-law, that I am sorry. I am very, very sorry for the incident. Please forgive me. It will never happen again. I have given my life to Christ. I am a changed person. I am sorry. To the children, I ask them to forgive me. I am sorry. Uncle has changed his life," end quote. Judge Errol Thomas then said, "There is room for reformation given his age. This is not an easy decision to make, but the court has a duty to society and to do what is fit and proper." In more police news, 8 marijuana plantations at Granby have been destroyed following an anti-drug operation there on Thursday. Police also found cured cannabis during the Granby raid.
On Thursday, the 17th of March 2016, members of the Marine Unit, Task Force, Special Service Unit, and the Drug Squad Unit of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force carried out an anti-drug operation in the heights of Mopo in Granby. The team discovered 8 alleged cannabis plantations, 11,902 alleged cannabis plants, and 11 kilograms of alleged cured cannabis weed were destroyed. No arrests were made.
Meantime, investigations are continuing into 2 major drug busts in the north and south this past week.
On the 13th of March 2016, police in the north of the island seized 33,596 grams of alleged cannabis weed, 1 9mm Glock pistol, and 6 rounds of 9mm caliber ammunition. No arrests were made. Investigations continue. On the 14th of March 2016, in the south of the island, members of the Drug Squad Unit and the Special Service Unit of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force destroyed 17,256 alleged cannabis plants and 33,000 grams of alleged cannabis weed. No one was arrested.
A former senior educator is recommending a structured set of standards for government school bus drivers. The role of school bus drivers was placed in the spotlight during a training forum this week. The Ministry of Education hosted the exercise on the UNICEF's Child Friendly Schools program, which encourages safe environments for students. Former Chief Education Officer Stevenson Hyacinth facilitated the training.
We recognize the bus drivers as an important part of the school system. And we want them to feel a part of the school system, and they have a critical role to play in that they transport students from their homes to the schools and from the schools back to the homes. And hence, the practices on the buses should be in sync with what the Ministry of Education is in fact espousing. Initially, we were thinking of just developing one set of standards, which is unique, but some bus drivers do not have certain problems that others encounter in certain areas. So they wanted to be more specific to what it is that they observe from the students in there. But the idea is to develop some standards, expectations for the bus drivers, school bus drivers. Not for bus drivers generally, but for school bus drivers. Because the mere fact that they're interacting with students, it's important that they understand their roles as teachers too, because they are teaching by example.
Bus drivers identified several acceptable behaviors they will encourage students to practice.
It helps you to learn certain things that you did not know in dealing with children on the bus, like say safety of the children, and children supposed to be respectful and those stuff like that. And they have to keep their hand, especially keeping their hand to themselves, because sometimes children touching one another and it can cause fight on the bus. So all those things there, although we know some of them.
At the meeting, there are a lot of things that you learn. You learn how to deal with children, what to expect from children, and how you should go about helping children and correcting them in the right way. More meetings should be held, and they shouldn't have to wait until abuse and all this happen to children to try to come out, to try to help. They should attack the issue before it actually happens. But still yet, I mean, no information is never too late.
This woman who represented her husband at the training says she anticipates more exercises of this nature for bus drivers.
It will also help us and our drivers to enhance child-friendly like relations with the students. So I think it was a very rewarding experience.
Still with bus drivers, stock farm bus drivers are weighing in on the new traffic restrictions imposed by police in Pottersville.
Well, I think it's a good thing because it eases up the congestion of the traffic. And but just one thing I want them to do for us is to extend our bus stop. At least give us more authority on that side, you know.
How far does your bus stop extend?
Just about a few feet away by that vehicle over there. So if they can give us the whole side or something, do something for us. We working together with the law, so why can't they just work together first?
And I see the one-way traffic has an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is for emergency vehicles, particularly the fire and ambulance service. It's easy for them coming from the bridge, going straight and no oncoming vehicle in the direction. But for us who's do actually plying the route, if we are coming from Stock Farm empty, we have to go all through Roseau and then come back to the bus stop. And I find that's a disadvantage to us. I mean, there are times when there are a lot of congestion in town and we have to wait for that period of time for the vehicles to actually slow down or ease up for us to get there. So I think the disadvantage is for us in that aspect.
Roberts had a suggestion that he wishes the police to consider.
If they were to at least allow us to run through the Pottersville, I think Potter Street, drive through Potter Street and making a keep clear onto Johnson Avenue where we can come into the bus stop, that I think can actually provide a better bus service for us. So we will not have to go into the Maho or the Canefield bus route.
He says the bus drivers would have appreciated some level of consultation before imposing the restrictions to the route.
I mean, government have a right to do what they have to do, but they also have to consult the pedestrians as well as the persons who ply the route as well, and that's my concern.
The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation and Police Traffic Department have joined forces to get derelict vehicles off the streets. As a result, owners of derelict vehicles will be fined if they fail to comply with police orders. Solid Waste Management staff will be accompanied on the field by a police officer for this exercise.
Recently, we have a team of persons working with the traffic department in terms of taking care of the derelict vehicles. What we are doing, we go around and identify those vehicles and we notify the owners of those vehicles and we give them a time frame to remove those vehicles. And failure to do that, we take it to the next level.
And the next level would lead to getting the derelict vehicles towed after owners have received reasonable notice. A police officer accompanying staff of the Solid Waste Management Corporation would mark a derelict vehicle to indicate that it has been checked, and that person should consult the police traffic department.
If you fail to remove the vehicle upon notification, you can be fined, you can be brought to court, whatever the case may be. We have been in the Kings Hill area. We're hoping to do it island-wide and go around and get the derelict vehicles. And a derelict vehicle is not an old vehicle which has been missing parts and so. A derelict vehicle, according to the law, is also a vehicle which has been sitting there for a period exceeding 6 months when the license expires. So normally you would be able to identify the owner because all vehicles are registered. So we at the traffic department, we have access to all the records in that regard. So we'll have to look up the records and identify the owner of that vehicle.
You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, we'll find out what's being planned for Forest Day and World Youth Day. Thank you for staying with us. Former Health Minister Julius Timothy is now Dominica's non-resident ambassador to Mexico. A press release from the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs stated that His Excellency Timothy will work closely with Mexico to ensure effective implementation of agreements signed between the two countries. In 2014, Mexico made available the sum of $500,000 US towards rehabilitation efforts following weather devastation in December of 2013. Following the August 27, 2015 storm, the Mexican government provided $250,000 US towards obtaining material or equipment to help the reconstruction process. Diplomatic relations between Dominica and Mexico were formalized at the ambassadorial level in 1991. In education, the Minister for Education says Dominica's education system has come a long way since independence. Delivering the feature address at the spring commencement ceremony at State College on Wednesday, the minister said one of the biggest complaints about schooling back then was its irrelevance to life. But he says government's education revolution has sought to ensure that the State College and other institutions provide education that makes a difference. Mr. Saint-Jean pointed to the Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET and the Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ as critical components of the reform process.
It is in recognition of this tight relationship between technical education and vocational qualifications that the Cabinet of the Commonwealth of Dominica, leaning on international best practice, has been authorized by the Honorable House of Assembly through the leadership of the Minister of Finance and Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit to pursue a policy that, one, in the first place, reforms technical vocational education and training, TVET, including subjecting TVET to certified standards of quality. And two, in the second place, to use the reformed TVET program to drive reform generally in curriculum, teaching, and examinations. This policy thrust is targeted.
In other news now, Dominica will join the rest of the global community in observing International Forest Day on Monday. The theme for this year's celebration is Forest and Water, Sustain Life and Livelihoods.
In Dominica, as you're well aware, we're one of the more fortunate in terms of our region. In fact, in the Western Hemisphere, we probably, per capita, we probably have one of the highest per capita forested areas, in about 60, close to 60 to 65% of our land mass is forested. And out of that, we have about 20% of our forested areas are protected. Our forests and the water, our rivers, etc., also have recreational uses for kayaking, river tubing, and many other environmental services that they provide. So water for us is very, very important, and I think it's very, very fitting that the United Nations has decided this year to focus on the theme of water.
The Forestry Division will be paying special attention to forests along the country's rivers and has some hands-on projects planned.
Importantly, we're planning to have a tree planting activity, symbolic tree planting activities in 4 of our forest ranges, and we have one around for the Roseau Range around the Layu area, Checkall, Dubla, and also Bells, around the Bells rivers. We have to ensure that we maintain our watersheds, we continue to do reforestation programs to maintain the level of watershed, to make sure that we have good and clean water and a supply of water for agriculture, for maintaining land stability. And we really want to join, as the rest of Dominica, to join us. I mean, apart from some of the symbolic tree planting activities we're having, we'd really like to invite the rest of the country, people to, if you can, to plant the tree on that day.
And over 800 young Catholics are expected to gather in Grand Bay on Saturday. This as the Catholic community observes World Youth Day under the theme, Blessed are the Merciful, for they shall obtain mercy.
We're going to World Youth Day is celebrated every year on Palm Sunday in the Catholic Church. This was started by Pope John Paul II way back in the 80s, and it's continued. Youth from every single parish of the diocese, and that's Dominica, it's a national rally, will be gathering at the community center at 12 noon in Grand Bay for the start of our activities together. The climax of our day is going to take place in the afternoon, where we end with the Palm Sunday Eucharistic celebration. So Bishop Gabriel Mauser will be celebrating the Mass with the young persons there. We have our rally for the youth on the Saturday, just to allow the young persons to meet together on a Saturday and still be able to celebrate Palm Sunday in their parishes on the Sunday, the next day.
The young people are expected to be more involved in this year's World Youth Day celebrations.
This year, the young persons have been preparing for the rally for many weeks and months now, because they've actually been reflecting on the theme, and they're all going to be presenting banners around the theme. So we're having a parish banner competition where the young persons were asked to create a banner that symbolized or expressed what the theme meant to them. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. We're not going to have a guest speaker speak on the theme. We're going to allow the young persons to share what they interpret the theme to mean and what it means for them. And they'll be going to be encouraged to practice the corporal and spiritual works of mercy.
And pupils and parents of Goodwill Primary School participated in an inaugural French cuisine cooking competition on Friday. This formed part of the events to celebrate Francophonie Month.
This is the first ever French cuisine competition, and it was my initiative. I woke up and I thought, why not do something extraordinary this year, for French, because for the past years we have been doing a lot of different activities at the Goodwill Primary School, and this year I decided to at least include the parents. What the parents did is they prepared the foods at home and they brought it here with the names of the foods along with their menu to be judged. We have two categories. We have the dessert section, because we all know that the French is well known for their desserts, and we also have the main meal segment, and so we have different judges from the food and nutrition of the different secondary schools.
Massicotte says this competition is an innovative way to help children learn the French culture.
When you're teaching languages, it's important to focus on the culture of the language, of that aspect of the language. When you learn about a country, you learn about its culture. That's the most important thing you learn about, to get to know about the people and their way of life. We have this young lady from France, and she's here to teach the children how to prepare one of the very famous dishes, French dishes, desserts actually, in the French countries, which is crepe. This is a unique thing, and I think they will learn a lot about the cuisine and maybe the names of different foods and so on. That will encourage them to expand their vocabulary in the French language.
14 parents participated in this competition. Lizelle Prince won the dessert segment and Augustina Clark won the main meal segment. There was also a French cooking art competition. It was won by Niabelle Paquette. A fruit display by grade 2 got special recognition. Earlier this week, the Penville Primary School won the annual French Spelling Bee, which was held at the end of Wednesday's French Festival. You are watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
Hello everyone, and here are your sports highlights. First up in sports, local coaches stand to benefit from a level 2 and 3 diploma as Mars Sports Club partner with National Sports Coaches Association of America this weekend. Representative of the National Sports Coaches Association of America, Jerry Toussea, says the training will teach coaches how to deal with children.
This weekend we're going to be doing a level 2 and a level 3 diploma, which is the entry-level diplomas for us. All the coaches who are going to be participating this weekend also got access to the level 1 diploma, which is 100% online. And the NSCAA did it at a very big discount cost because they want to help grow the sport here as well. And so the coaches are going to be learning methodologies that work for little kids, and also what's the progression from an 8-year-old progressing to a 14-year-old. And so the level 2 diploma focuses on 10 and 8-year-olds, and the level 3 will focus on 10s, 12s, and 13-year-olds. So because the training methodologies are different for those different ages.
He says the initiative is new and will benefit Dominican coaches.
So it'll be the first time we're here, and it's a great opportunity for this to be the first step of that. And getting coaches educated is fantastic. If there's something that, if this academy can address the coaches with the youth, with the juniors, I think it's the best first step, instead of focusing only on the coaches of the adult leagues.
In cricket, New Zealand escaped with a narrow victory when they bested Australia by 8 runs in the World T20 series on Friday. New Zealand batted first, ending on 142. Martin Guptill top-scored with 39, while Grant Elliott added 27 to help put New Zealand in the lead. Glenn Maxwell and James Fulker picked up 2 for 18 each for Australia, their team replying with 134 for 9. Usman Khawaja 38, Mitchell Marsh 24, and Glenn Maxwell 22. Michelle McCligan picked up 3 for 17, Corey Anderson 2 for 29, and Michelle Santer 2 for 30. The games continue into Saturday with a match between India and Pakistan at Eden Garden, Kolkata. Still in men's T20, England secured a 2-wicket win over South Africa after choosing to field first. South Africa, first at the crease, scored 229 for 4. Hasim Amla scored 58, while Quinton de Kock got 52. Moeen Ali picked up 2 for 34 for the English team. England, in reply, posted 230 for 8. Joe Root hit an impressive 83, while Jason Roy supported with 43. Kyle Abbott picked up 3 for 41, and Kegisoro Rabada 2 for 50. Quickly on the local scene, we can tell you that the Augustus Gregoire League will continue on Saturday with a match between Starlights and Point Michelle Cricket Academy at the Dublin playing field. Starting time is 10 a.m. On the football scene, there were wins for Ray Charles Point Michelle and ACS Tarish United in the Dominica Football Association's All-Island League Thursday. In Game 1, Delton United and Daddy Chess Bath Road Ambassadors played to a 2-all draw. Leron Desiree and Fitzroy Williams scored for Delton United, while Sean McDonnell and Jervon Bellot scored for Ambassadors. Meantime, national striker Delroy Parker registered a hat-trick to lead ACS Tarish United to a 5-1 victory over Fonkole Classics. Sean Joseph also scored for Tarish. Ezekiel Emmanuel got the lone goal for Fonkole. Over at Pore Playing Field, Ray Charles Point Michelle defeated Andy Williams Spartans 2-0. Kern Tuse and Danny Dupini scored 1 each for Point Michelle. And the match between Dublin Football Club and Buster Warner was called off due to continuous waterlogged conditions. In primary school sports, the St. John's Primary School had secured the final spot in the semi-finals of the school's Division 2016 NBD Primary School Boys Football Championships on Thursday. The Pioneer Preparatory School went down to St. John's 4-0. Cadamel Paul scored 3, while Jadel Cornelius added 1. The semi-finals and the final are scheduled for the Windsor Park Sports Stadium on Tuesday at 1 p.m. The first match will be between St. John's and Granford Primary Schools, followed by the Woodford Hill and St. Mary's Primary. Meantime, the semi-final matches will be followed by a game to determine the 3rd and 4th place teams, after which the finals will be played. And the first round of the girls segment of the Sports Division's NBD Primary Schools Football Championships will begin on April 12 and 13, while the district competition will start on April 15. On to basketball. The President's Cup of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association bounced off in fine style, with crowd favorite Detroit Blazers defeating Kyrie FM Old School 82-68 Thursday night. Thomas Felix scored a remarkable 45 points with 4 rebounds and 2 assists for Blazers, while Levi Barron added 30 with 8 rebounds and 1 assist for Old School. In the second game, Fast Cash Prowlers bested Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers 66-42. Fitzgerald Daniel got 21 points with 3 rebounds for Prowlers, while Kevin Tuse and Craig Angol got 10 each for Thunderers. The 2016 league begins Saturday with United Insurance Sharks taking on LA Knights at 7 p.m., while at 9 it will be E.H. Charles crossover versus Warriors at 9. The venue for the matches will be the Massac Hard Court. In high school sports, an intense basketball game between Portsmouth Secondary and Dominica State College girls ended 57-54 in favor of PSS Thursday. The sports division organized game had Jay Powell of PSS with 24 points, while Aliyah Prince and Danisha Xavier had 29 and 15 respectively. The league continues Monday, where Dominica Grammar School will play host to Northeast Comprehensive. Starting time is 3 p.m. In action from female sports, the Big Edge Financial Express Netball Championship resume on the weekend with 4 games on the cards. On Saturday, New India Assurance Celtics will take on Northern Contractors Limited Portsmouth Secondary at 3, while at 4:30 it will be Cocoa Town Cafe Portsmouth Secondary School versus Sparts. Sunday's match will feature a clash between Jazz and Dominica's under-23 team at 3. At 4:30, Wesley will face off against New India Assurance Celtics. All matches are carded for the DGS Hard Court. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Have a great weekend.
Up next, a look at your weekend weather forecast.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, what it showed. A relatively dry atmosphere as a ridge of high pressure became the dominant feature. Now taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery, what it showed. Some cloudiness mainly across the eastern coast of Dominica. Taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it indicated. A few scattered showers mainly across the extreme southern portion of the island chain. Tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy and breezy with a few brief scattered showers mainly during the cooler late night to early morning period. These conditions are expected to continue tomorrow, with conditions being fair to partly cloudy and breezy with some brief scattered showers. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 8 feet. Small craft operators and sea beavers, you're advised to exercise some caution. Conditions for the next 3 days: fair to partly cloudy skies with few brief scattered showers can be expected on Saturday and Sunday, with an increasing cloudiness and scattered showers expected as we move into Monday. Breezy conditions are expected to continue throughout the 3-day period. The rest of the Caribbean tomorrow: fair to partly cloudy skies with few brief scattered showers can be expected across the entire region during tomorrow as a ridge of high pressure continues to dominate conditions. Our international cities forecast: cloudy conditions expected in New York, some thunderstorm activity expected in Miami, overcast skies expected in London, with partly cloudy skies expected in Caracas and Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:10 a.m. and sunset at 6:16 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good weekend.
To end the news, the headlines again. Soufrière man sentenced to 5 years, 11 months in jail for manslaughter. The drug squad destroys 8 marijuana plantations in Grand Bay. And bus drivers react to new traffic arrangements in Pottersville. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsMarch18th2k16. You can watch our past newscasts on YouTube. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To all our viewers around the world, thanks for watching and do have a great weekend.